Hey, good morning, guys. It is June 16th. Sorry, volume might sound different because my earbuds are charging. So we're in John 15 again. This is the abide in me. If you abide in me and I in you, then you'll bear fruit and you can ask anything and my Father will give it. So it's just the extension of that. John 15 we had a couple days ago, I believe. And Jesus is saying that greater love has no man than this, that he lay down his life for his friend. And then he says, he's talking to his disciples, I've called you friends. And he's obviously not just stating that he's going to lay down his life for them, but that a believer, a true believer, lays down his own life for his friend, Jesus, who in exchange laid down his life for us, or flip that. And I like how Chambers puts it here when he says, it is far easier, here about halfway through this first paragraph, it's far easier to die than to lay down the life day in and day out with a sense of the high calling. So the idea of giving my life, and this is also one of the things that we fail sometimes to realize about Jesus. Jesus didn't just lay down his life at the cross. That was just the culmination of him exchanging his godly form in heaven for an earthly form, the flesh, wrapping himself in flesh for 33 years. And so he truly did lay down his life for his friends from the day one, from the day he was born to the day that he was basically until he ascended into heaven. He laid down his kingly robes, his heavenly form, and became a man, which was truly condescending. And so when we talk about laying down our life, and sometimes we say, well, Jesus laid his life down at the cross. That's not it. He laid his life down from day one until the day he ascended. So anyway, all that said, it's far easier to lay down in death than it is to day by day by day by day, which we are called to do. We're not made for brilliant moments, Chambers says here, but we have to walk in the light of them in ordinary ways. And so, anyway, ordinary drudgery. We've talked about the drudgery before. But here's the thing: is the drudgery before one of the things that's really hard. People sometimes have an easy time thinking about laying their lives down for Jesus, for my Savior, but that's not what he calls us to do. He calls us to lay down our lives for others, for the brethren, lay down our lives for the brethren. And so that's the harder part. Just like he did lay down his life for fallen man, for sinful man, for ungrateful man, that's the exact same thing we're supposed to do. I'm supposed to lay down my life for the ungrateful man to the right and to the left of me. And John says, Chambers says here at the end, John says we ought to lay down our lives for the brethren. It is contrary to human nature to do it. My humanity does not like to sacrifice for the sake of other people who do not deserve my sacrifice. And that's the real key. That is at the crux, is why would I lay down my life for those who don't deserve it? And then the answer is obvious. I hope you already got it. But the answer is because he laid down his life for us. And God knows we didn't deserve it. And because when we serve each other, we are serving Christ, that's what makes it a little bit, if we can truly grasp that, whatever you do to the least of these, you do to me. In Matthew 25, Jesus says, whatever you do to the least of these, you do to me. And so when we lay down our lives for those to my right and to my left, we are truly laying down our lives. And this makes it easier to swallow. I'm laying down my life for Jesus. Because he says it. He says, when I lay down my life for him or for her, I'm laying it down for him. for Jesus. And then Chambers wraps it up here. Stand loyal to your friend with a capital F, which is Christ himself. And remember that his honor is at stake in your bodily life. And that's a real challenge, actually. I think his honor, when I wear the title of Christian, as believer, as follower of Christ, his honor is at stake in my bodily life. So I'd say be encouraged by that, but also be convicted by it, be challenged by it. But his honor is at stake in my bodily life. You guys have an awesome day.